Bin gerade aufgewacht.
I cannot enter.
Knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me.
Nee, hier will ich nicht rein. Wo bist du? Hä? Also so. Ey. Was machst du da? Ich esse auch keine Menschen.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
Mörderin. Hat ihn vertraut.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
I must confess I have not put an end to the blackmail, my lady. Unfortunately, I could not bring myself to do it.
I'm so disappointed in you, Jonathan. I didn't expect this from you.
Lady Ashbury, you yourself admitted how ridiculous the sum of money was. I can assure you, it was all used for charitable ends.
Well, you are full of surprises, aren't you, Jonathan? All right, say I trust you, but you will still pay the ransom. That is only fair. After all, it was you who failed to bring this problem to a satisfactory conclusion.
I believe I could agree to that.
And since a lady always keeps her promises, I will now answer any questions you may have.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London vampire society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Very well. But I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
Crooks?
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scowl.
What type of vampire is a Skull?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then?
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, Skulls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad.
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires. But all vampires are not Ekon. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
Excuse my forwardness, but... are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
I bid you farewell. For now, my lady. I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Die isst einfach die Kranken auf. Was macht denn ihr? Ah, da.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it. Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak. But I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stole, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here. But it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
And why not? What did... Well, using my blood, I could create a whole army of vampires.
Surely you're joking.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you. I have some rather bad news.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister?
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
Hallo Lollipop, hallo Zero.
I'm sorry, Jonathan.
Wie geht's
Please
euch?
accept my condolences.
Schön, freut mich. Hallo? Mir geht's auch gut, danke. War richtig heißes Wetter heute.
To attend my murdered sister's funeral. Mary, I can't forgive myself. I'll find the truth about what happened to us. I swear.
Lollipop, du warst noch nie hier, oder? Ich muss die beißen, ich kann nichts dagegen machen. Ah! Ey, wer schießt da? Geh weg. Das war's dann für dich. Da steht ja noch mal einer. Sei ruhig. Ah. Was zum Beispiel?
Steady, boys! Whatever it is. Bloody leech!
Welche Spiele sind Clickbait?
My dear sister, I don't know if I have the strength.
Alter.
Somebody help! Who are you? What do you want?
Wenn Last of Us 2 rauskommt, das werde ich auf jeden Fall streamen. Und ich überlege mir mal in nächster Zeit, was für Spiele noch angesagt sind.
Somebody help!
Also ich spiele halt gerne so Rollenspiele allgemein mit Story und Geschichte.
Are you all right, miss?
I don't know. Who were those people? They wanted to kill me. Why?
They've lost their minds in the epidemic. They won't come back for now.
You seem to know a lot about them, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm investigating this disease.
I am Shaoshun. Thank you so much for helping me, Mr. Reed. I must go to the cemetery now. Goodbye.
Carnage. Is Father Whitaker's disciple among the bodies, I wonder? This man's far too old to be Samuel. No. By the look of his clothes, this man's a docker. Samuel isn't here. I had better follow the blood trail.
Alter, krass. Ey, komische Zombies da. Ah. Nein. Kommt her. So, hab alle erwischt.
Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, spot to attend the ceremony. My mother would die if she were to see me in this state. I must wait. Mother, why have you come here? This is proving far worse than I imagined. Avery, I leave you to care for my mother. I'm in no state to comfort her.
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Why kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Oh, Avery, I feel so tired. Please take me home.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Mary. What have I done?
Hallo neuer Zuschauer.
One thing. One thing. This is a nightmare.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
A vampire crying over the death of a loved one. It sounds like a bad joke.
No, Jonathan. She was your sister. And the pain of her death, the hunger that killed her, will stab at you for years. It's important to cry for those you love.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered, and it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You must come to terms with this. You must learn to live with what happened.
I'm learning. Every night is a new lesson. What I am, what I must do to survive. But my sister, she shouldn't have suffered because of my weakness.
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve, and the guilt blurs our senses.
And so this is why you're here. To warn me. You felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
You may be right.
Of course. I've stared upon this world for centuries, and time has taught me to deal with guilt, if not erase it.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to confess.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
Mann. Nee, oder? Ey, nein! Stirb! Ey! Wo kommen jetzt die ganzen her? Ah. So knapp.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion. Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
Ascalon does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Ascalon?
Ascalon's will is vampire law. Learn them, abide by them, or I shall return as your judge and jury.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
Ain't safe here for a gentleman. Oh, you! Stop that! Away with you!
Stirb. Oh.
This man stunned me with his faith. His crucifix. This is not good news.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
Hallo neue Zuschauer.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold.
Hallo nee.
I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
Take no offense, Vicar. I seek just a moment in nothing but my own company.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
Wie geht's dir, Name?
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond.
I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Mir geht's auch gut.
As you seem quite adamant. Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
Freut mich, dass es dir gut geht.
Just know, I cared for her. You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her? It was an accident. A terrible, terrible accident. I see. And how are you feeling, my son? I wish I could forget
Ja,
all this.
Vampyr. Der hat seine Schwester getötet.
Question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance. Ask your question, Vicar. How can this poor soul hear you when you can't even hear yourself and admit your role in this tragedy? I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary, forgive me. You have been hurt, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
Ja, ein blutsaugender Unfall, das konnte man halt nicht mal entscheiden. Der hat so einen Anfall gekriegt und die Schwester war gerade nebendran und dann hat er die gebissen. Also ich konnte da keinen anderen Weg leider gehen. Also eigentlich war es schon ein Unfall, ich konnte da nichts kontrollieren. Das war das Problem. Der kriegt manchmal so Anfälle und dann kann man den Typen nicht mehr kontrollieren.
It's locked, all right.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Nee, die war eine ganz normale Menschenfrau.
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I'll never know what goes on in that place. But as long as people are getting better, I'll stop investigating her.
Hallo neuer Zuschauer.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Eiger Moritz. Hallo Herr Moritz. Der hat seine Schwester gebissen aus Versehen und dann ist die gestorben. Der, den ich da spiele, Markus Moritz, der kriegt so Anfälle manchmal. Guck, ich beiß Menschen. Oh nee. Der ist jetzt dran. Ja, weil die mich angreifen. Ich muss da irgendwie durch. Also diese Soldaten, die greifen mich immer an. So, guck, ich mach nix. Und der kommt und schießt. Ich muss die töten. Ah. Das sind so Wachen, die greifen alle an. Ich weiß nicht, die sind böse. Es gibt ja Menschen im Spiel, mit denen kann man reden. Und die greifen halt einen immer an, keine Ahnung warum. Habe ich noch nicht rausgefunden. Das sind, glaube ich, Vampirjäger. Denke ich mal.
Remorse and pain are precious when binding you to the earth. You. I remember you.
Der hat Schuldgefühle.
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing.
Ich glaube.
You made me. Made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
Warum ich?
You selected me. Chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
Ich bin sein Kind.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave.
Ja, wenn alles so rot wird, dann kriegt er Anfälle.
Who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
Ja, ich kann alle beißen, aber ich habe bis jetzt alle am Leben gelassen, die man leben lassen konnte. Nur wenn er halt so Anfälle kriegt, dann kann man den nicht kontrollieren. Also ich habe gelesen, dass man auch alle beißen kann, aber ich mache das nicht. Nur die, die mich angreifen. Ist schon geil, das Spiel. Die Geschichte wird immer interessanter. Ich bin ja eigentlich ein Doktor. Ich helfe den Menschen. Das ist ein Arzt. Alter, was ist denn hier los? Was habt ihr gemacht?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
Was?
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all happened. I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates after the shouting started. At first I thought it was someone who was just scared, but... well, maybe it was him.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Zu krass, ermorden sich einfach gegenseitig.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCullum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Leave him, Jonathan.
Doch, ich
It's
glaube...
sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned.
Doch, die erkennen den wohl.
By the sacred stole, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
Das ist so depressiv, das Spiel, aber irgendwie geil.
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
Are you worried about the situation or your reputation? Now is not the time to think of oneself.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
You want to restore peace in the hospital again?
I know this place means something to you. I have noticed how you suppress your appetite when around the staff and patients.
You need to know you can trust me, Edgar.
I do, dear fellow, I do.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man?
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Well, they are not far wrong. The hospital is almost crawling with vampires.
Vampyr
McCullum is a
Hospital.
fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
Immer muss ich alles richten.
Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
Überall Blut.
Oh, Jonathan. I cannot believe my eyes. Poor woman. Butchered by some savage scowl.
Everything dies. Or should.
Jonathan, how could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent. For there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
Ja, das verstehe ich selber noch nicht, warum die meisten irgendwie erkennen, dass der ein Vampir ist. Die ist ja auch ein Vampir. Eigentlich sehen die aus wie normale Menschen. Also ich verstehe das auch noch nicht so wirklich.
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was bigger than a man. Huge, in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club. are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
Probieren wir gleich aus.
Have you embraced this woman, like the other patient, this Mr. Renfield?
Her name was Amelia. And no, I did not kill her. I vowed a very long time ago that I would never take another life, unless they asked.
Hallo, neuer Zuschauer.
Is there sufficient vitality in the blood of the sick and dying patients?
Yes, Jonathan. The hunger gnaws at me every waking hour. Frankly, I'm starving.
Temptation surrounds us. Rich, vital. How can you resist?
Over the years, any pleasure I once gleaned from feeding is long gone. I drink for sustenance. And though I still thirst for more, I restrain myself.
Ja, bei Detroit Become Human war mehr los, weil es erstens komplett deutsch war und da war nicht so viel Text. Bei dem Spiel ist halt ganz viel Text. Aber ich finde die Story geil.
Difficulty when faced with holy symbols or trying to enter religious buildings.
Ist halt für die Leute nicht so interessant.
I don't know why, but yes, it has happened to me.
Aren't you frightened?
Very little scares me, my dear. To be compelled to avoid symbols of faith does not concern me.
Is this a sign? The hand of God in action? Are we repellent unto heaven?
I don't have the answers, Jonathan. But I believe superstition and magic is just fact awaiting the lens of science.
Ich probiere mal jetzt den Knopf aus.
I hope to see you again soon.
Also ich kann die Sicht verändern. Und da ist dann was Rotes drin. Also die ist ein Vampir. Und der ist kein Vampir, das weiß ich. Mit dem habe ich schon geredet. Aber eigentlich ist gleich. Aber die sehen eigentlich alle gleich aus. So ein Blutding. Wohin muss ich? Voll weit. Jetzt wird es viel Kämpfe geben. Falsch. Ich beende hier mal den Stream und mache morgen Abend weiter. Oder willst noch weiter gucken, Name? Also mir ist es egal, wenn du noch weiter schauen willst, mache ich weiter, wenn nicht, dann mache ich morgen Abend weiter. Ja, alles klar, dann danke, dass du da warst, hat mich gefreut und ich wünsche dir noch einen schönen Abend. Bis dann.